All right, well, hey there, folks. I'm Meteorologist Matt Barrentine. I hope you're having yourselves a good afternoon. I wanted to go ahead and give you a good look here at the forecast here across the area. I'm sorry, I tried to figure out. Got so many remotes here, it gets awfully confusing, and making sure I turn everything down. All right. Good. Some people leave the TV monitor on that's in front of me on, and then you get the echo with the audio, so we don't want to do that because then you can't understand anything. All right, so now I get everything pretty well set up. Obviously, beautiful day, beautiful weekend that we had. Hope you really enjoyed it. We've had some super nice weather. I mean, look at this afternoon. Here we are just after 2 o'clock, and a nice, beautiful. I mean, it's warm when you stand out in the sun. You can sweat a little bit, but it's still, you know, as long as you got some shade, it feels really comfortable. Still in the 70s in Pensacola, Biloxi, and other areas. So really doing just fantastic out there for us. Around the region right now, very comfortable temperatures and very beautiful weather. I mean, you know, there's some clouds south of us in the Gulf, but across our area, there's just some very high thin clouds. It's looking really pretty, mostly blue skies, and really great conditions. Now, if you have something you got to run around and do next few hours, you're going to find basically perfect weather. It's going to be right up around 80 degrees, and the sun will set, and temperatures will begin dropping off into the 60s. So very comfortable tonight. I mean, I'll be out in the practice soccer field and all that stuff tonight like I usually am, so it's nice to have good weather out there. I usually walk while the kids are doing their soccer practice, and we got really good stuff for that tonight. All right, so doesn't always like to click on there. Talk about what we got tomorrow. So tomorrow morning we'll wake up to milder temperatures, upper 50s, and by the afternoon it gets pretty warm. It's 83 in Mobile tomorrow, maybe as warm as 86 in Citronelle, Mount Vernon, and Bay Minette. There'll be a few more clouds around tomorrow as well, so you'll start to see the clouds moving on in here for us tomorrow. Panhandle, same sort of deal, kind of along the coast will be the low 80s. But once you go inland, we're talking mid to upper 80s, so starting to get a little bit toasty, and once again, a little bit more humidity in the air out there tomorrow. You'll feel that extra humidity. You'll feel that, you know, extra few degrees as well. It'll be a little warm here for us on our Tuesday. And you can notice a lot of our inland areas solidly in the mid-80s out there tomorrow, from Atmore up to Jackson, back to Beatrice and Monroeville and Chatham. Everybody up here in our inland areas will be in the mid to upper 80s. So a warm day out there tomorrow. Mississippi counties, low 80s to mid-80s here across our Mississippi counties tomorrow. All right, so here's the next 3 days. So Tuesday is a little warmer than today. Then we get Wednesday. And what do you see on Wednesday? See 80% rain chance. We got a good chance of some real soaking rains, and that's really what I want to get into, because it's the whole setup. The whole setup is pretty interesting. First, let's talk about this. This is well, we've been dealing with this for weeks. Of course, I'm talking about the drought, and right now, nearly our entire area is at least in the level 3 severe drought, but a good chunk of our area as well. That red area you see there, that's level 4, extreme drought. And obviously this has been something we've been dealing with for a while. It's a slow motion disaster. It really started for us in August. We had normal rains up through July, but then August was an absolute furnace, the hottest month we've ever recorded by a long stretch. And we only got about 2 inches of rain in August with that extreme heat. So we got what's called a flash drought. Normally it takes a long time to build into a drought, but when it's that hot, you get a lot of evaporation, and it happens quicker. So it's called a flash drought. So we moved from the beginning of August, no drought, to the end of August into a solid drought. And then that kept going into September and now October, just getting worse. They update this every Thursday, and every time they update it, it just, you know, we get more of those oranges and reds on the map. But I think we're going to see some changes this week. When we update this Thursday, there's going to likely be some changes, and here's why. Because we are watching out for the possibility of some tropical development. Now, you can see this area marked off in the southern Gulf. It is 20%, and I'll explain this. I don't think it'll become a full-blown tropical system. It'll become kind of a hybrid or maybe even a subtropical storm, because it's going to be kind of working its way northward and turning into kind of a mid-latitude system. That's nothing for you to worry about. There's just 2 main points there. One, because of that, it's not likely to grow into a hurricane. Just won't have that real ability. 2, it's going to be a rainmaker regardless, whether we call this thing a subtropical storm or we just call it a Wednesday rain event. Either way, it's rain, and it's a rainmaker. You'll also notice there's 2 other systems kind of on the other side. If you're looking at it, you may have That is Max and Lydia out there in the Pacific. Now, this tropical wave moves north. Max and Lydia move into Mexico. And they're going to actually, you can see the fetch there across Mexico, especially with Lydia. Max, not so much. With this storm, a lot of that moisture is going to start being pulled up here as well and kind of combined. So it's tropical rain, in a sense, that's going to be headed our way for Wednesday. Now, this is Tuesday night at 9 o'clock. There's the tropical wave. Here we are. We're dry at that point. Then I'll push this forward into time. We'll go to Wednesday at lunchtime, 11:30 Wednesday morning. So lunchtime on Wednesday. All that moisture, some of that came over from the Pacific. And here's this tropical wave. It doesn't have the look of a true tropical storm. Because like I said, we would anticipate this being kind of a hybrid, a subtropical storm. And that's, once again, noontime on Wednesday. Maybe a few showers just beginning to arrive in coastal areas at that point. So when does the real rain begin? Probably late afternoon here on Wednesday. And this moves in, should be a good soaking rain. So like I said, the physics aren't there for this to grow into a hurricane. Whatever we call it, though, it's going to be a rainmaker. And a lot, of course, and how much rain we get obviously depends on exactly the track it takes. If it goes a little more to the east, that might leave us a bit high and dry. I don't think that's going to be the case, but I'm just letting you know, if it came over this way a little bit more, obviously, we would get less rain. But as it looks right now, I'm pretty sure we are going to get a decent amount of rain out of this system. Keep moving this thing forward in time. So that's 8:30 on Wednesday evening. Raining heavily, probably from New Orleans through southern Mississippi, South Alabama, all the way through the Florida Panhandle. So a good batch of rain moving on through. By Thursday morning, it's out. So this is going to be mainly late afternoon Wednesday, going into Wednesday evening. Here's I'm going to give you a little closer look at this. I know we'll go through the wider view. Let me zoom in because you may be looking at your phone. Let me zoom in here so you can really see the rain bands. Once again, stopping it on noon Wednesday, probably just beginning to see some of that stuff arriving there. And then 4 o'clock there on Wednesday. Now we're starting to get some solid rain up into the area. And then looking at 6 o'clock on Wednesday, we're talking about some heavy rain. So yeah, looking at some of the Facebook posts here, yes, we are talking about it is possible we could name this thing a subtropical storm. And subtropical storms get names just like tropical storms do. But they're more of a hybrid type of system. They're not fully tropical. And that's important in the sense that if they're not fully tropical, they can't wind up into a hurricane. A hurricane's a fully tropical system. A hybrid system is not going to wind up into a hurricane. So we're not concerned so much with that. And like I said, regardless of exactly what we call this, it'll be a rainmaker. So let me let you zoom in a little bit again. Look at there's 6 o'clock on Wednesday, heavy rain across the area. 8 o'clock on Wednesday, this may be when it's heaviest, good soaking rains that we desperately need. I mean, this is good stuff. We need this. And it is going to be a good soaker on Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday evening. Then, like I said, by the time you wake up on Thursday morning, it is out. All right, how much rain are we talking about? Okay, first on caveat here with, these are precipitation accumulation models. They can be pretty awful most of the time, okay? Because any slight shift in a track can massively change the rainfall amounts. So when we look at these, I'm looking for an overall sort of average. That gives me a much better idea of what we could be seeing. And every time I've been looking at these models last couple of days for the system, they've all been kind of at the bottom end around 2 inches, top end around 3 inches. That's actually a pretty close spread with these models. They usually are much wackier than that. So that gives me a better sense that I'm thinking, at least a solid 2 inches, pretty much area wide. Then there'll be some spots I might get as much as 3 inches or even more possibly out of the system. But at least 2 inches, I think, for most people here in our area, which is beautiful. It's not a complete drought buster, not by any stretch, but it's definitely helpful. And it'll come down all at once, and it'll come down and really soak the ground, really soak in there. So this will be a good rain event for us. And we may have a few more leftover showers on Thursday and on Friday as well. That would be helpful. Any bits you can add on top of that will help as well, because then as we go into the upcoming weekend, it'll turn dry, and I'll show you that in a minute. Once again, pretty much a 2-inch rainfall, but you do notice some higher 2-inch models. And let me see, I'll widen. There's another one I have here. Let me see, it's just a wider look at the model, probably about the same numbers. Click that in there. Now, that's jammed up. All right, well, that one's not working. Like I said, some of these can be hard to deal with. Let me get the long-range forecast in, and here it is. So, once again, Wednesday, the big rain day. Tomorrow, I'm not anticipating any rain out ahead of this, okay? So we'll likely stay dry on your Tuesday. It'll be warm in the 80s. Look at the temperature on Wednesday. I mean, those clouds are going to really thicken up early in the morning on Wednesday. You may not see any sun at all, really, during the day on Wednesday, even in the morning. Long before it starts raining on Wednesday, we'll probably be fully in the clouds. That will hold the temperatures down. So we're only looking at a high of close to 70 degrees on Wednesday. And that's not because it's going to be like a cool fall blast or anything. It's just going to be held down by the clouds. Still some leftover shower possibilities on Thursday and Friday. Friday, another front actually comes diving on in, excuse me, and that's going to leave us with a gorgeous weekend. So really nice weather over the weekend. So this is like at this point, just nearly a perfect 7-day forecast, because we had a couple of beautiful, obviously beautiful weekend, beautiful here to start the week. We're going to get the rain smack dab in the middle of the week, and it looks like a good soaking rain that we really need. And then we're going to get another system through on Friday that will clear all this mess out and give us another pretty weekend coming up. About 70s in the afternoon, lots of sunshine, no worries about any rain Saturday and Sunday. So all in all, I mean, this works out super well. Good timing with everything. All of it looks really, really good. We're going to be on tonight at 3, 4, and 5, giving you more details on all this. Really hope you enjoy your day. We'll be, like I said, we'll be on at 3, 4, and 5 with all the latest on this tropical possibility system out there in the southern Gulf. That's where it's originating from, and it's likely to bring us rain midweek. That's that big rain chance you see there on your Wednesday. So I know maybe our soccer practice will be canceled. We'll see. Have yourselves a good one. Y'all take care.